While Ballora is the most human-like of all the animatronics and seems to also be one of the prettiest and most serene and graceful looking, not really scary at all at first glance, this doesn't mean you should underestimate her. Ballora first appeared in FNAF 5's sister location and is voiced by Michella Moss. There she appeared almost peaceful, as one of the animatronics that was trapped in Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. Shocked again and again every night, forced to perform, you almost sympathized with her. However, she would later go on to prove just how deadly a threat she was during her appearance in Ultimate Custom Night, where this time around you learned just how dangerous this murderous ballerina could be. Welcome back, my fellow gamers. This is Top 10 Gaming and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Today we're going to be taking another look at everyone's favorite humanoid animatronic, Ballora, as we count down the top 10 Scary FNAF Ballora Facts Part 2. That's right, Part 2! So, if you want even more Ballora Facts, check out the Part 1 to this list afterwards if you haven't already. And be sure to stick around to the end of this list where I will have some bonus content coming your way. Alright, let's get counting. Number 10. Technical difficulties. Proving just how terrifying she can be in Ultimate Custom Night and during the sister location Custom Night, Ballora, when she appears, will mess with your cameras. She approaches from either one of two halls, but when she does, the cameras become disabled. Apparently Ballora is some kind of tech whiz or emits some kind of frequency or other technological waves of some kind, 5G, that interferes with your cameras. The only time you'll see her in Custom Night is when it's too late and she has already jump scared you. Number 9. Listen carefully. The key to avoiding Ballora's jump scare in Ultimate Custom Night is in attentive listening. What you'll hear in your headphones, this is FNAF after all, sound cues galore, so I'm assuming you will be wearing headphones, is Ballora's music, but you won't be able to see her. You'll want to close the door on the side you hear her music coming from before she can attack. If you succeed, the only way you'll know is with another sound cue, a thud meant to signify her leaving. And you'll obviously know if you fail, cause well, you'll be dead. Number 8. Shocking revelations. In sister location, you are of course forced into shocking Ballora in order to get her to perform and make sure she is in operating order so she can once again entertain children during the next day. If you've seen my part 1 of this list or played sister location, you'll know what I'm talking about. Something, however, that we have yet to mention is what happens on night 2 when you shock Ballora. Only Ballora's shadowy silhouette can be seen when you illuminate her stage, and you are forced to shock her in order to motivate her into performing. However, when you do so, all you will hear is a garbled, creepy, demonic voice which is emanating from the malfunctioning hand units. Initially, it doesn't sound like anything is being said intentionally, just a bunch of creepy sounds. However, one Redditor plugged the audio into the audio recording program Audacity to see if they could make sense of it, and discern if the voice was actually saying anything resembling words. Upon increasing the pitch and speed, they did uncover some actual words being said there. To them, they said it sounded like argumentative, standards, elevation, passive, heights. However, what these words actually mean in regards to the bigger picture, or if Scott intended them to be there or be found at all, remains a mystery. Number 7. Relation to Circus Baby. A theory that some have is that Circus Baby is the younger sister to Ballora, implying that the two were made in relation to each other somehow, perhaps both being created and handmade by William Afton himself. The other theory is that Elizabeth herself had an older sister, who we haven't met yet but who also died, and whose soul was trapped or stored within Ballora somehow, preserving the other young girl. She possibly even died after Elizabeth did and was perhaps placed there initially to keep her sister's soul company. Number 6. Ballora Stage. One of the creepiest parts of the introduction to the location and game mechanics in sister location is when you're examining the stages. The first stage you are forced to illuminate is Ballora's. The fact that her light and the other stage's lights aren't just always on makes the whole thing even more unsettling. That anxiety that you feel building the first time you go to turn on that light, and then the crazy thing is how muddy the lighting or thickness of the windows seems, making the stage still appear as though it were being viewed through a vignette. Even when Ballora and her mini-renas appear after their administered shock, the whole scene still appears disturbing. Number 5. dancing. Last time we talked about how talented of a singer Ballora was, but of course being modeled after a ballerina, she is also known for being a talented dancer. She often glides and spins around her stage. She is meant to encourage children to get active and to enjoy pizza, implying that you could join Ballora for a dance-themed or ballerina-themed birthday party. Though I'm not sure how, if you rented her out, she would manage to dance, as she does apparently have very specific requirements when it comes to performing. Number 4. Travel by tracks. One of these specific requirements, of course, is that she needs to have tracks to dance on. Ballora actually glides around on tracks in her studio, which is how she manages to spin and perform. Without her tracks, Ballora can't even stand, and instead crawls around disturbingly on all fours. I'm not sure how exactly she would perform without said tracks, or if it's even possible. Though fortunately, or unfortunately, her super creepy mini arenas don't seem to need tracks in order to move and prance around like Ballora does. Yay? Number 3. Room for one more. Speaking of mini arenas, okay, so this isn't directly related to Ballora, but I'm not sure if the mini arenas will get their own list, and they are affiliated with her, so I figured it would make sense to include this story here. Do you want the mini arenas to get their own list? Or do you feel as though they deserve their own list? Let us know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I don't know if we actually have enough facts for them for a top 10, but the mini arenas are definitely terrifying, so I feel like they're worthy of having their own list. This story features Ballora's naughty mini arenas appearing in the third Fazbear Frights book that was released earlier this year, titled 1:35 a.m. In the story Room for One More, a security guard named Stanley spots them while working on his desk. Later he notices that he feels sick, and realizes the mini arenas must have been climbing inside his body while he was asleep on the job. As he attempts to head to the hospital, his body fails him and he falls to the floor. A final mini arena approaches him, asking if there's room for one more. Terrified, he screams as the mini arena climbs into his mouth. Yikes. Number 2. Mrs. Afton? While some theorize that Ballora is like the big sister to Circus Baby, others believe that the two have an even closer relationship. They believe that Ballora is actually Circus Baby's mom, or rather that the spirit within Ballora, which gives her consciousness and awareness, belongs to William Afton's wife and Elizabeth Afton's mother, Mrs. Afton. Sometimes referred to as Clara Afton, given the name by fans after the character Clara, from the soap opera scenes of The Immortal and the Restless, featured in Sister Location. People believe that Clara's story from The Immortal and the Restless is indeed a somewhat reference to the story of Mrs. Afton and her husband William. This has yet to be confirmed, but some believe she died in a car accident following the death and loss of the rest of her family, and somehow her soul maybe became trapped within Ballora. How that happened, we have no idea, but you know, could be possible. Number 1. Model of? Another theory, which I think makes more sense given what limited information we have on the Afton family dynamic, is that Ballora was created after Mrs. Afton's death and was simply modeled after her. Perhaps she herself was a ballerina. Some people believe that Ballora was created to be a vessel for Mrs. Afton's soul as she was dying, but because she died before the animatronic was made, she was unable to possess it. In that case, it would be perhaps some other form of remnant that possesses or haunts the animatronic ballerina we know as Ballora, granting her life. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow gamers. Who is your favorite Sister Location animatronic? Do you think that Ballora may in some way be related to Circus Baby or Elizabeth, either as a yet unknown sister or potentially as her mother reincarnate? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking of comments, it's time to turn to some comments for one of our latest videos, Top 10 Scary Pokemon Creepypastas You Need to Know. Tobiah Arlett comments, my least favorite Pokemon is Gengar, he's scary. Yeah, I could see that. Personally, I think a lot of the ghost Pokemon are some of the most scary. Duskull is one ghost type that creeps me out a lot, or Sableye. Ugh, I just don't like the eyes. Ugh. Ghost types are likely not Pokemon you'd want to run into in the middle of the night in a dark alley, that is for sure. Little Blue Ann shares, my top 10 gaming senses were tingling, now I'm here. Top 10 gaming senses, that sounds like it's better and more effective than any notification bell you could ever ring. Hopefully they also alerted you of this new video as well, so you don't miss out. And that's all the time we have for comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and feels shouted out in a future list. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!